Good evening, everyone. Today we have a very, very special guest. This is a brother, a friend, Santiago João, also known to many as Sanchez. I'm actually very excited today to be here with brother Santiago for us to be able to go through one of those more episodes that we go through, and we talk about the life experiences we have had, not only here in Namibia, not only in the camp, but also life experiences in Angola and elsewhere. So I would like to first welcome Brother Santiago, and thank you for accepting my invitation. I know it was something just done suddenly, but yeah, thank you for your prompt response to this invitation.
I'm honored. Thank you for inviting me.
Welcome to Olosapo. And yeah, just to start off, I would like to give you a few minutes just to tell us who is Santiago, and yeah, who is Santiago basically.
Well, thanks for inviting. It's an honor to have this conversation. As just mentioned earlier, I am Joaquin Santiago Jean. That's my full name. In the midst of my youth now.
Yes.
Very soon I'll be above the youth age.
No, I think we are in the same age group. So
yeah, same age group.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like I've lived already quite a lot.
It's a blessing.
Yeah, and well, I think as for the rest will be.
Yeah, we'll be discussing as we move along.
Sure,
Okay.
Sure.
Santiago João. No. Thank you very much for at least letting our viewers exactly who is Santiago, and then yeah, before we really dive deep into the conversation, I would like to start first of all with the very first thing I ask many of my people that I interview, which is the Osire experience. I would like to take you back a few years back, or let me say many years back, to the life in the camp. And I think the first thing I would like to know is at what point did you get to the camp, and how was that experience of being part of the camp?
Well, we arrived at Osire. I think it was in March 1999.
Wow, in March 1999.
Yeah, you can imagine it's quite a long. So it's like
it has been a while. Yeah,
it has been a while. I'll say it's like in the how do you call it, century? Like in the previous century.
Yeah.
It's a different century.
It's a different century, yeah.
So it was actually in the 20th century.
Yeah, now we're in the 21st century.
We're in the 21st century.
Yeah,
So in the 20th century, that's when we arrived at the
yeah.
And it was quite hard at the beginning because it's a refugee camp.
Yeah.
And as you know, conditions were not so favorable. And as for us, we were not coming.
Turn left toward Moses Garo Street.
We were not coming from a war zone.
Yeah.
So you'd imagine we were coming from our own house.
Yeah.
And I remember when we left Lubango, my father was busy building a bigger home, a bigger house.
Wow.
So we're all expectant that okay.
Yeah.
So at that time, as many Angolan families who were sleeping, all four of us.
Okay.
Let me say at least we were four.
Yeah.
But the fourth one was still very small.
Very small.
So we'll just lay down.
Okay, so sorry to cut you before you finish. Don't forget what you were, the line that you were in.
Yeah.
What I wanted to ask, like at this time you're saying you were basically four. I guess it is you, Batista, Manuel,
and Eugenia.
And Eugenia.
Yeah.
Okay.
Eugenia was the youngest amongst us.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll be sleeping all in the same place, and it was actually part of the kitchen.
Okay.
So in the evenings, the kitchen would be made
a
bedroom for
bedroom,
us
yeah.
in one of the corners. So we're so expecting that in few time to come, we'll be having a bigger house that was busy building a bigger house with many rooms. So you can imagine our expectation.
Yeah.
And when we went to the camp, I don't remember, I was young, but I still have these fresh memories. The first thing that really astonished me is that we were told that though we knew some people they came, but the guys were like, okay, it's part of the, I'll call it the protocol. You arrive, you're a refugee, so you are supposed to make the authorities understand that you're homeless. You know, that you're nobody there in the camp.
Oh, I see.
So we were forced, like every morning, we'll take our stuff and stand. We'll call DP.
Yeah, I know DP.
So we'll just put our stuff there and we're like in the sun all day long. And I really couldn't understand that. You know, we left our home, we left everything, and why do we have to go through this now? So at some point, I really felt like, whoosh, but why did we come here? What was the purpose of dad and mom bringing us here?
Bringing us here.
Yeah, so the first few years were really hard, and then we had to be accommodated by another family.
Okay.
So it was like a whole family, like we were 6 at the time, including our parents, and we were all lodged in one room.
Wow.
Yeah, that's where we were in one room. And then at some point, then they decided, okay, we had to build a small shelter made of, how do you call this? Ripas, I don't know.
Let's just call it ripas.
It was ripas and mud and clay. And with grass as a roof. And the funny thing was that it was not well designed. It was not well projected. This small shelter was built behind the bigger house of the family that accommodated us. And you know what happened? When it was rainy season, so all the water from the roof of the house was going on top of us.
Wow.
and our grass rooftop would not really, stop the water.
The water. The
when it was raining, no one was sleeping. Wow. Yeah, we will be standing in one corner. Where you could find at least you will not get wet. That's where you place yourself.
Praying that this rain stop as fast as possible.
And you can imagine it was a struggle with ourselves. As kids, we love rain. But then when rain causes you so much damage, you're like, should it stop? Should not that? Because if it continues raining, we'll continue suffering.
Exactly.
So it brought conflict in us. So the first years were really hard. But then I'd say as soon as I'll call it, we got recognized. We were given a plot, and then we were given a tent as well. So our whole family relocated from. Let me say we detached ourselves
from the family that hosted
that accommodated us. And we went to our own plot. We put up the tent, and with the tent, the only struggle was when it was September and October.
It was hot.
It was hot.
And
then we had those strong dust winds. So then
the
the struggle was to keep the tent fixed. So sometimes we were asked to clean ourselves on the pole so that the tent will not be taken away with the wind. So I think things really got better only when we were able to build a small house. Made of bricks. I'll say, from there, let's move to the new primary school. That's where we did grade 7. And then the same primary school used to be secondary. In the afternoon. In the morning it's primary. In the afternoon it's secondary.
Wow.
That's it. Then we moved to secondary from grade 8 to grade 10. We're like the second, should I say the second? I think the second or the third. We were the second group of grade 10 in the camp. Because usually it was only up to grade 7. People were sent out to different hostels. But then when they started secondary school, I think we were the second group doing grade 10 in the camp.
So you at this point you did only up to grade 10 within the camp, and then you went Chivarongo.
Yeah, that was a good one.
But before we get there, I know, and I have heard
Sure.
that you were one of the best learners in the tent in the camp in your years. If not the best, one of the best, but I know it's the best, as I heard. And I mean, these years, when I look into results in terms of grade 10, grade 12, although currently grade 10 is no longer, the system has changed. It's no longer the way it used to be. Like grade 10 was all.
It's confusing.
It's very confusing. Yeah, grade 10 used to be like an exam class whereby you write national exams the same way you do in grade 12.
Yeah.
But currently it has completely changed. Now it's grade 11 and 12. But I wanted to know, just as I mentioned, I know that you were one of the best learners in your years in grade 10 in Syria. Despite all the challenges, let me say we didn't have access to electricity. We didn't have access to so many resources like internet and all those things. Just mention for me in a few words, how did you manage? Like, how did you manage to compete? I know that school was competing with schools like all over Namibia. With all these challenges, how did you manage to study in a way that enabled you to be one of the best, not only in Syria, but also in the country, as to say?
Well, it's, how do I say it? We want us to speak of himself as the best. It's sometimes hard. You know?
Yeah.
For me, it was all natural.
Yeah.
For me, it was all natural. I think one of the factors was, despite the challenges, we were not having perhaps all the best conditions that one should have had.
Yeah.
But our teachers were so committed. I really respect them and honor their
commitment.
Yeah, they were committed, and one thing that I loved from them, well, it's obvious that not all of them are the same. Same capacity of transmitting.
It's true.
Knowledge, but they are, most of them are this thing. They were preparing us for the future.
Indeed.
So they were not only preparing us for school level, but preparing us for life. This is one of the best things that I really loved from the teachers that I really got in touch with along these years.
Yeah.
And in terms of preparing, when you are being prepared for life, it's like the knowledge itself gets stuck into us.
Okay, I see.
That's the thing, because we were being taught something that should be for life. And there's one thing about me, it's like I'll say to myself, if I'm here to learn, then I should show the teacher that I learned.
That's good.
This is what I usually tell myself.
Yeah.
If I'm here at school to learn, then at the end of the day, the teacher should really look at me and say, wow, this guy, he has learned. He has absorbed what I transmitted him. So this was one of my criteria.
Yeah.
I love to read.
That's good.
So we did not have electricity, but I would always take some time to read. Yeah, I don't think I did a lot of effort. Sometimes some stuff were just natural.
It's true.
They're just natural.
Yeah. This is like football,
Yeah.
If we have to compare, Cristiano, Messi, people, let me not say me, but some people say, okay, one is talented, the other one is hardworking. Yeah, so I'm in total agreement with what you're saying. There are people who do not need to do too much effort in some stuff because
and I really love, because the teachers were also like inducing us into a spirit of competition. Like, you guys should do better than the other ones. And I must acknowledge that it was really, we had a good I think a generation of people who were really have it. They were really thirsty for knowledge. And I must reckon here that I started with some good fellas.
I see. So I take away two key points that you mentioned. The first one is the commitment of the teachers, and the second point is the thirsty that as learners you had to learn, that drive, to become better people in the future. Maybe also as a child, you look at where you are, you look at where your parents are, you look at the situation, you definitely want to do better so that tomorrow, you dream of giving a better life to your parents. I believe also that should have been the case for you. So now you finished high school, not high school. Okay, let me not say high school as a whole, junior secondary
yeah.
in the camp, and now once again you find yourself in a situation where you have to move away from your parents. You moved from Angola with your parents to the camp, and now you need to move away from your parents, not because you want to move, but because you only can do grade 11 and 12 outside your parents. So how did you see this move, and what was running in your mind when this moment arrived?
Well, I'll say it was one of those defining moments of my life.
Yeah.
Because as a person, I was at that stage of life where I was trying to understand myself
Yeah.
as a person.
Yeah.
I was trying to find my own identity. And then that's where I got the point to understand that I'm not staying with my parents forever. At some point,
At some
I
point,
really
I'll
have
let
to
to
detach
go.
myself from them.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
the condition just forced me to get into this reality.
I see.
So we finished grade 10 with good marks,
Okay.
very good marks indeed.
Yeah, no. Yeah.
That's what they
Okay.
say.
Yeah.
I don't know, but they say
No,
that.
it's true. It's true. Yeah.
I think we were 3 or 4 that came on the list of the top 50 best learners
Wow.
at that time.
Wow.
That's what they say.
Mm-hmm.
I never got to see anything written about it.
Yeah, no,
that's
but
what they say.
Now we'll believe them.
Yeah, that's what they say.
Yeah.
And
We can doubt when we are saying that about ourselves, but when people are saying that about ourselves,
that's what
we
we're
gotta
told, that's what we're
believe.
told.
Yeah.
In fact, I think our school did so well.
Yeah.
Be it the first, let me say, the first generation of grade 10, and we were the second generation.
Yeah.
No, in Ochozunjupa region, I'll say that's where we were integrated. They knew the conditions that we're studying and all that, and they were amazed at the results. It was funny that the refugee camp school would come like in the top 5.
Top 5,
best
yeah,
school.
yeah.
No, not to say best schools, but best results.
Best results, yeah.
With good passing rates and good marks. And at that point, then it was really a headache for me. It was a headache for me because I didn't know where to go after Osire.
Yeah.
We're told we go to Chwaraba, high school, or maybe Windhoek.
Yeah.
And the process for high school was there are a lot of
Yeah, a lot
things
of
in the
procedures
procedures that
yeah,
we didn't even know about.
Yeah.
You know, and I don't know how, but it just happened that I was told, okay, then maybe we should try Windhoek.
Okay.
We should try Windhoek. But then Windhoek, where
Exactly.
exactly? Where am I going? Which school am I?
Yeah.
I don't really know what happened. I just know that the first trial we made, I don't know who directed me.
Yeah.
But I just find myself at Ella Duplessis.
Okay.
And we are there struggling to find a spot,
Yeah.
struggling to have a vacancy. And I remember it was, she has already passed away, Miss Menetti. May her soul rest in peace.
Indeed.
Yeah, you know, we're there struggling and trying to find people who will help us get a place.
Yeah.
I just don't know how she learned
Yeah.
that there was Elena with 42 points.
Yeah.
And that they were not facilitating the process
Yeah.
for me because I was a refugee.
Yeah.
And she connected this fact that this should be a good letter.
Exit.
But then she remembered, wow, he's from the camp. And in the previous years, she had contact with some other good guys from the camp.
Wow.
Yeah.
Hello, my people. Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, depending on your local time. Once again, welcome back to Alosapo. You already know your channel. As I always say, Alosapo means stories or tales. We are back with the stories, and as always, today we have Brother Santiago João. Brother Sanchez is known to many of you. So, yeah, Brother Sanchez, once again, welcome.
Thank you.
Let us take off where we left yesterday.
Sure.
And yeah, if I'm not mistaken, the last discussion we were having was in regards to your high school.
Yeah.
And
Transition.
transition. So the high school.
And all that.
Yeah. So you were mentioning on how Brother Seteko in some way had an influence on your acceptancy or the place given to you at Ella. So I would like you to finish that one before we transition to your next move, which is from Namibia to Angola.
Yeah, like we were saying yesterday, it's like the legacy that these other Angolans left at Ella du Plessis helped us a lot in the sense that they were expecting the same level of performance, the same level of engagement, and the same level of those guys were so brilliant, you know, they were expecting the same thing from us. And that's how their legacy really helped us. When they realized, oh, you guys, Santiago was here, it was good, so they expect the same thing from us, and I believe we did not disappoint them.
That's great. That's great.
Yeah, we left our footprints well stamped on that school.
That's good.
Yeah,
that's good. Now it's always to have how can I say, it's always to leave a good legacy. I mean, everywhere we pass by, it's always good to leave a good legacy so that tomorrow, future generations, coming generations, if by any chance they go through the same path, they'll find a good report in regards to their parents. So indeed, you have done well. So yeah, now I would like you to I would like to know how and why the decision of moving to Angola instead of maybe pursuing opportunities here. I mean, at this point you have been here for years and you are more used to the life here rather than on the other side. I can also say that at that time I believe there were also opportunities on the other side. I think the economy was somehow doing well, and there were a lot of opportunities in Angola in those years. But only you can tell us exactly what was the key player into your move from Namibia to Angola. So I want you to expand a little bit on that.
Believe it or not, I moved to Angola. My move to Angola was not planned.
Okay.
It was not like perhaps a decision that came after a lot of balancing factors and all that. You know, simply because I had done grade 12. I did my first year bridging course at that time it was still Polytechnic.
Now NAST.
And we're expecting, because there were some hopes of sponsorships and all that. But then, you know, sponsorship process took so long. So while we're waiting, I decided, it has been a while. I mean, so we left Angola. I'll consider myself, I was below 12, so I can consider myself an infant. And I was now turning 20, and I was like, okay, why not? I have nothing to do at the moment. While I wait for the final feedbacks from the sponsors, let me join your daddy as you are going to visit the family. I also want to visit. That was...
It was simply a visit.
It was simply, the idea was to go visit Angola and the relatives, because I still had some of them in mind. And I felt like, okay, I would love to see them again. And just check on them. That was simply the idea.
Okay.
And it was a turning point.
For there is a saying in Portuguese, It says, Deus faz, não sei se Deus faz caminhos tortos.
Caminhos retos em linhas
Em linhas, certo. Yeah. Maybe. Sorry. Maybe you can just do a slight translation to English for our viewers who might not understand
God
Portuguese.
draws straight lines on
Maybe rough paths or something like that.
I just say linhas tortas.
Yeah. I think it's rough
Yeah,
paths
well,
rough paths, something like that. But I think they'll get there.
literally there.
Yeah. No. I see.
Yeah.
I see. It's how can I say let me say it's the work of God. It's the work of God.
Truly.
We as humans we do the planning, but then God is the one who enables us to accomplish or to fulfill these plans. So there are times where we have our own plans and God has His plans for us. So I believe that was God's plan for you, and you had your plan and He had His plan. So
Sure.
we are grateful for that, because I believe that it turned out to be a blessing. It turned out to be a blessing. So I want you now to also just touch a little bit, because just as you mentioned, it was a visit.
It was
Simply it was a visit, and currently you find yourself in Ambridge, mostly in Ambridge, but sometimes in Rwanda. So I want you to expand a bit on, after the visit, what exactly happened that led you to Rwanda and the work in Ambridge, or maybe before Ambridge, where exactly did your work journey began?
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, it all boils down to what we said earlier about legacy.
Yeah.
As I was on a visit in Lubango,
Yeah.
relaxed. I was relaxed.
Yeah.
No
Yeah.
plans,
Yeah.
nothing in mind.
No pressure.
No pressure, nothing.
Yeah.
And suddenly someone asked me whether I wanted to work.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, why not work?
Yeah, I'm
why
ready.
not work?
Yeah.
I'm here, not doing anything.
Yeah.
I haven't heard about the sponsors yet, so why not work? And this person called me because she had talked to somebody else
Yeah.
about the need of a person that they had at their company.
The company, yeah.
And that other somebody recommended me.
You, wow.
It's all about, the good reputation.
Yeah.
So you want someone that you can trust.
Yeah.
Why not call
Yeah,
Santiago?
Santiago, yeah.
He's there in Angola, and as far as I know, he's not doing anything.
It's not attached to any
So
company.
actually, the job was recommended to me.
Wow.
So they called me and they said, "Hey, what are you doing?" I said, "Well, I'm here doing nothing."
Yeah.
And she was like, "Okay, yeah, we have this vacant post, and I really wanted to work with someone whom I can trust. Yeah, because it's a sensitive area and all that." So,
Yeah.
well, I'm available.
Yeah.
And that's it.
That was it. That was your interview.
That was it. That was it.
Wow.
Yeah, I had to put up the documents, and
Yeah.
after some time, I was
Yeah.
called. So it was, as you say, it was God drawing.
Yeah.
For me, it was a bit, I wouldn't say frustrating, but it was a time of, I wasn't seeing what was coming.
Yeah.
Because in my mind, I was so confident that the sponsors will take on and we will proceed our dreams.
Yeah.
I was really aspiring to be a chemical engineer. I wanted to do an engineer, but specifically chemical engineer.
Okay.
And I love physics and chemistry, and I was really eager to go into that field.
Yeah.
And I did well on the first on the bridging course at NAS. So I was just waiting for a final say from the sponsors.
Yeah.
And when the sponsors were silent, I don't know what was happening. I was kind of, I don't know, I wouldn't say really frustrated at that point, but I was just living without thinking what will come of tomorrow.
Yeah.
And suddenly someone is asking me, "Do you want to
You
work?"
want to work, yeah. Like, why not? Wow.
So it was really God doing His work, because
Indeed. Indeed.
today